So, Mr. Thompson, the focus of today's gathering is fixing corruption in Albany or trying to stamp out some of the corruption in Albany. Some of the people I talk to say it's incredibly widespread. Everybody's corrupt to a certain degree. Other people say it's really just a few bad apples. What's your take?
I would honestly say that, as in many professions, in many areas, it's a few people. It is not widespread. I think if you look at it, looking at Albany, that the majority of people there want to do good things, want to get things done, want to serve their constituents, want to make this a better state. So I think, unfortunately, it is a few people. Obviously, they get a lot of press. And what happens is they wind up tainting and tarnishing those who were there. So, you've gone through and you've seen over the years, unfortunately, somebody pops up and everyone becomes tainted by that brush. It's not necessarily so.
There is a difference in recent headlines, however. It's not just low-level members of the assembly or this. You're talking about the biggest names in Albany that seem to be coming under this. Is that cause for additional concern? And does that suggest to you that this is a systemic problem or a problem of individuals?
I think, again, a problem of individuals. I think that what you need to do, and I think some of it has been done during this legislative session, transparency, openness. What you're looking at in some cases, those on the highest level, it's been in law firms and other things and outside interests. And obviously, this isn't supposed to be a full-time legislature, but I think to be able to make sure that you guard against, that you provide transparency on the highest level, that openness, who are clients, disclosing that, making sure that there's a glimpse into the work that others do outside of the legislature, I think that helps.
Do you feel like the recent pushes for greater transparency are enough and will actually bring enough sunshine into the process? 'Cause the cynics are going to say, well, it's just enough to make it look okay on the surface.
I think that you've taken major steps. I think that you continue to take those steps. Gain and full transparency, 100% transparency doesn't happen overnight. It happens incrementally. And I think that what happens is with that transparency comes a change of attitude and with a few people. But again, when you look, the majority of your legislators are working on a full-time basis, and I might say for $80,000. So we need to pay a little more attention, to understand that the majority of legislators don't have outside income. The majority of legislators are working on a full-time basis.
So is it my sense that you would support the idea of making it a full-time legislature and increasing their pay? Would that be enough to reduce some of this, some of the problems that we're seeing?
Well, the question becomes, do you need a full-time legislature? And I don't think most states don't have that. So I'm not saying that they have to be a full-time legislature. I would say that given the demands from the public, because the public wants to see their legislator, and when there's an issue, they want them at that meeting, no matter what time of the day. It's hard to have that flexibility if you are not full-time, or at the very least, if you're not paying a real wage to those members of the legislature.